What just happened inside the Golden State Warriors locker room has completely flipped the NBA world upside down, and fans are calling it the biggest internal crisis the team has faced since the dynasty began. After an embarrassing loss that stunned even longtime Warriors analysts, both Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler delivered brutal, unfiltered messages that have now gone viral and left the entire franchise on edge. And tonight, we're breaking down everything what was said, why it matters, and how this moment could reshape the future of the Warriors as we know it. The Warriors walked into their last game already dealing with pressure, inconsistency, and the uncomfortable truth that something hasn't been clicking this season. But the loss they just took wasn't just a regular defeat, it was demoralizing, sloppy, and completely unacceptable for a team with championship DNA. The moment the final buzzer sounded, Steph Curry shook his head, the fans booed, and the cameras caught players not even looking at each other. But what happened backstage was even more shocking. Multiple team sources have confirmed that the locker room exploded into a series of heated conversations, and at the center of all of it were Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler. If anyone expected these two fiery leaders to stay quiet after a disaster like this, they were wrong. Draymond walked into the room furious, slamming his gear down, and immediately called out the team for the lack of effort, lack of toughness, and lack of accountability. He reportedly said this wasn't Warriors basketball, not even close, and that some players need to stop acting like the season just started. According to the source, Draymond targeted defense, communication, and hustle, but he didn't name specific players yet. Everyone in the room knew exactly who he was talking about. Meanwhile, Jimmy Butler went in a different but equally explosive direction. Butler, who has been known throughout his career for demanding intensity, effort, and a winning mindset, didn't hold back either. One source said he was pacing, visibly upset, and straight up said the team embarrassed themselves and that too many players were playing soft and not respecting the jersey. Butler is not the type of guy who sugarcoats anything, and his comments reportedly shook the room. Some players sat quiet. Others looked surprised. A few even pushed back. But the message was loud, direct, and impossible to ignore. This is not the kind of internal moment the Warriors fanbase is used to seeing. This is not the calm, unified dynasty energy that defined the Curry-era core. This is something different. The tension between the players, the pressure from the coaching staff, and the rising frustration from the fanbase have created a perfect storm. And these blow-ups from Draymond and Butler didn't happen in isolation. They are the result of weeks, maybe months of something simmering beneath the surface. To understand why this moment is so important, we have to talk about where this team is mentally. Steph Curry has been carrying a heavy load, and while he's still playing at an elite level, even he can't fix every structural issue this team has. Klay Thompson has shown flashes of brilliance but also struggles with consistency. The young players, from Kuminga to Moody, have talent but haven't always delivered the reliability or defensive presence the team desperately needs. And now with Jimmy Butler in the mix, the competitive fire inside the locker room has been turned up to a completely new level. But this embarrassing loss changed everything. The Warriors weren't just outplayed, they were outworked. Opponents were quicker, hungrier, more physical, and the Warriors simply didn't respond. During the game, you could see frustration building. Draymond yelling at teammates to rotate, Butler barking at players to push the pace, Steph trying to calm everyone down, but nothing changed. The team fell apart. The momentum collapsed. And the body language said everything. After the game, Steve Kerr entered the locker room hoping to deliver his own message, but even he reportedly looked stunned at how fired up Draymond and Butler already were. Kerr tried to remind the players about identity, preparation, and discipline, but the emotions in the room were overwhelming. One player reportedly said something under his breath that triggered another argument, and teammates had to step in. This wasn't physical, but it was definitely heated. What stood out the most from the inside reports was that Draymond and Butler were completely aligned. Two of the most intense competitors in the league, both known for their toughness, leadership, and willingness to confront teammates, basically teamed up to demand better. And when those two guys deliver that kind of message together, the entire team listens. Sources say Draymond pointed out mistakes made in practice that carried into games. Jimmy emphasized culture, work ethic, and doing the dirty work. Neither was talking for publicity. Neither was trying to create drama. They were calling out what they believe is a dangerous pattern forming inside the team: complacency. This moment is now sparking massive reactions throughout the NBA. Analysts are saying this could become a turning point for the Warriors, either the moment they finally wake up and rally, or the moment things begin to break down from the inside if not handled properly. Some former players even said this might have been necessary, and that a team with this much pride needed a serious gut check. Fans on social media are split. Some agree with Draymond and Butler, saying the team has looked soft and disconnected. Others believe the issues go deeper and that coaching decisions or roster dynamics might be part of the problem. But everyone agrees this was not just a bad loss. This was a crisis moment. The real question now is how Steph Curry will respond. Steph has always been the calming voice of the Warriors. He leads through excellence, humility, and consistency. And while he doesn't usually engage in confrontational locker room moments the same way as Draymond or Butler, his leadership style is just as powerful. Steph reportedly approached teammates quietly after the blow-ups, reminding them that the season is long, but the urgency must start now. Multiple players said that hearing from Steph after the chaos felt grounding, but even he knows the team has major problems to fix. Behind the scenes, the coaching staff is already adjusting. Kerr is planning to tighten rotations, experiment with new defensive looks, and hold players more accountable during film sessions. The front office, meanwhile, is closely watching how the team responds. If this crisis continues, trade talks could intensify. League insiders believe the Warriors are already monitoring several potential moves that could shake up the roster if things don't improve. And this is where things get even more dramatic. Butler's presence on this team was already a bold move, bringing in a fiery competitor known for challenging everyone around him. But when he combines that energy with Draymond's intensity, the team either elevates to a new level or collapses under pressure. There's no in between. In the hours after the incident, reporters noticed players leaving the facility looking tense, frustrated, and deep in thought. Some declined to speak to the media. Others gave vague answers like "we know what we need to do," or "it starts with us." Draymond didn't comment publicly, nor did Butler, but insiders say both players stand by everything they said and believe it was necessary. The Warriors now face enormous pressure heading into their next game. The NBA world is watching. Fans are watching. The front office is watching. And every player on this roster knows that the margin for error is gone. The message from Draymond and Butler wasn't just anger, it was a demand for urgency, toughness, pride, and accountability. The big question moving forward is whether this locker room moment becomes fuel or friction. Every great Warriors championship run included moments of internal honesty, sometimes uncomfortable, sometimes explosive, but always rooted in the desire to win. This time, though, the stakes feel different. The team is older, the league is stronger, the West is brutal, and the margin for error is razor thin. If the Warriors turn this crisis into a rallying point, and if Steph, Draymond, Butler, and the rest of the roster lock in together, this could become the moment we look back on as the spark that saved their season. But if the cracks widen, if egos clash, if players don't respond to the challenge, then this loss and the blow-ups that followed could signal a completely new chapter for the franchise. Every Warriors fan right now is holding their breath, waiting for what comes next. The team has the talent, the experience, and the leadership to overcome this. But the only thing that matters now is how they respond under pressure. And one thing is clear: Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler have officially drawn a line in the sand. They demanded more. They demanded change. They demanded pride in the jersey. Now it's up to the rest of the Warriors to decide whether they're ready to fight.